All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to you, How Shema Shah, by Shem Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostle and elders of great millstone. Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. Yeah, I just want to do this lesson on how do I want to word it. I'm going to quote it from John 14:2, where it says that I have given you many mansions. The Lord has many mansions for the elect. You know, this is an example amongst many. I've been, scrolling through the internet, finding certain articles, and I've seen a lot of stuff lately through the past week of NASA and scientists having a lot of discoveries that's reshaping how they think about science. And we know all science is Esau is possessing the science field, and he's master manipulating it, which science just means to know. So the knowledge that most people perceive, this devil will trick you. The word NASA means to deceive. When you look it up in the Hebrew, Nasha means to deceive. So, when they talk about so-and-so 50 quadrillion years ago, how do you know that? I just seen a video where they said that they just found a dinosaur embryo, and I guess they're going to try to take it to the lab and do all their works to it. But this devil is a mad scientist. He's full of wickedness. All he wants to do is control the narrative and manipulate the minds of the people. And the things that he has control of, he corrupts. So the Lord has things outside of this earth that this devil has no idea that to get to. He'll say these things are so and so light years away, which really the elect are going to be able to get to these locations, without with the blink of an eye, and it requires spiritual power. Now you see this right here of a diamond in space that is 5 times bigger than Earth, and I'm pretty sure this is one amongst many. They might have they have a planet that I've seen articles on. I did a lesson on that rains diamonds. So you got planets that rains diamonds. You got a planet that's 5 times bigger than the Earth that is a diamond. You have planets that's bigger than the Earth. So I say all that just to shed hope and adjust our minds for greater. Right now we're in captivity. We in the lowest, worst case scenario, as the Elder Yashawamba, speaks on. We are fighting tooth and nail to sustain, to make it day by day, to receive our daily bread, and it's a difficult walk, but nonetheless, there is going to be a reward for those that stay down and diligently seek him, as it is written, and I just wanted to, like I say, just speak in this regards to put hope out there. Some brothers is really going through it. They're living in these horrible ass cities. Scripture speak about curses. Curse y'all be in the city. So, you living into these metropolises, whether it's Detroit, New York, here in Atlanta, Florida, different parts of Florida, all of what I say, like Miami, Jacksonville, certain parts of Memphis, or Memphis, I'm going to say certain parts of Tennessee, or certain parts, even Mississippi. There's a hood in every area, and you see it's dilapidated, it's slummy, piss all over the place, it smells, it reeks. The people are all addicted to drugs, and it looks like a horror film when you go throughout the different hoods and ghettos and even barrios and areas where our people settle. Us, which I was looking into that earlier, which I may do a lesson on the term ghetto. It means the area where the Jews live. So true Jews are the Israelites, and our people are thrown all in the hoods and the ghettos, the projects, and they'll call it the trap, which is to keep you trapped within the confines of that area, and they only give you low grade opportunities within the hood. And they know that it's going to be damn near impossible to make it out. Areas like the Bluff. I remember even going through the Bluff as not a child, but like a teen, 18, 19, around that time. Pretty much a grown man. But I just was saying that speaking on this area, how bad it was. It was so dilapidated when I drove through there, and I'm not from I'm from, say, the suburbs. It is the suburbs from the location I'm from. Not the high up suburbs like fucking Beverly, but it's a pretty decent area. So moving to Atlanta, that or Glenwood, which is Decatur, in the outskirts of Atlanta, and just moving around Atlanta in these different areas, and you'll see they're like, damn, our people need help, man. They need hope, and they don't know what's on the other side of the fence because they weren't taught these things. Now you'll have your pastor, your pork chop pastor, that'll be in the churches, and he's telling you all kind of lies, and he'll tell you if you do this and that, you go to hell. You want to keep passing that collection, keep that shiny silver collection plate in your face, or copper collection plate in your face, and you just dumping your checkings and your savings accounts that you don't, got out the ATM, got the funds out the ATM to give to this individual to live lavishly, and you got to go back to the trenches, and like individuals said, they'll tell you that your heaven awaits, but they living in heaven now. They're not in the field with you. They're not exposing the so-called white man. They're not exposing the system. They're not being a true father to the fatherless. Now, this is John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. So the Lord has something in reserve for us. It's preserved. Just like if you say, all right, I'm saving this for you. Somebody else say, can I have it? No, it's for somebody. Because if you say I'm saving it for you, and then you give it to somebody else and they come and they say, all right, hey, you still got my slice of pizza or slice of cake, or, you still got whatever miscellaneous item it is. And they say, no, I gave it, but you said, that's the argument. You said you were saving it for me. So the Lord is bound by his word. And when he talks about mansions, it's heavenly mansions. I remember looking at the commentary in this, and see, scholars know that Yahweh Shah was talking about planets, all right, in the solar system, adding to the solar system. And this devil, which is multiple solar systems, this devil knows that he'll say the galaxy is growing, which he only, going back to these scientists, he only knows so much, man. You got to take things with a grain of salt when it comes to this man, because he'll tell you, matter of fact, let me get that. He'll tell you something, and it sounds like it makes sense, but who knows? The Most High may have already established everything, which it says that he's established everything from the beginning, So how the hell does devil know that the solar system is still growing? Going back, I was thinking about that just in the thoughts of me speaking, because I've heard that a while ago, and it sounds like it makes sense, but this devil, you never know with this man, so you gotta keep a watchful eye on the so-called white man and his schemes and plots, and know how to rightfully divide them through truth, because he wants to keep the blessing away from us, the blessing that Isaac gave to his son Jacob, not Esau. Esau was jealous, he was envious, and he wanted that blessing. So he's going to do everything to try to sidestep you from receiving that blessing. But we got to continue to, tread more aggressively, pray, fast, get these evil spirits out of our mind, to overcome. And the scriptures speak about how blessings are given to him that overcometh. So this is First Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, Keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. Yeah, so you got to steer clear of what this man, tells you even in that science field. They just had this thing with the Katy Perry, and that was proven to be a hoax. Katy Perry, I don't know if Oprah was in there. It might have been Gail King or Gail King. If that, I'm gonna think I don't think it's Scott, but yeah, her and her posse of women, they claimed to had went to the moon. They didn't say the moon. They actually just said outer space. They're supposed to take an outer space trip and just come back or whatever. From what I can recollect, I may be wrong. With the claims of them actually out of space or the moon, but it was one or the other. So nonetheless, they made that statement. But now you have true, individuals that would call themselves truthers, or individuals that expose conspiracy theorists. Ones that have theories of lies, and then they're breaking it down like, yo, that shit is all a hoax. So this devil, the system is a scam. Everything is a hoax. Everything is a lie. We've been lied to, deceived by the spiritual demon Satan that's working through the physical counterpart, the so-called white man. And we can hope, through faith, because we see what these devils is finding. He's finding pretty much riches in the heavens that could really reshape his reality, but the Lord would never give that to him. He's going to allow him to stay in debt. He's going to keep going through these tariffs. He's going to have that. He's going to keep enlarging that thick clay, up until the point that his kingdom is dilapidated and destroyed. Many, many tekel you farsing. So I didn't want to make this too long. Just want to speak in that, the beauty of the heavens, the curtain of the heavens. Let's speak about the revelations. It's going to be for the elect. So the scripture speak about how the Lord stretched out the heavens as a curtain. So that's what I was just referencing. So with that, I'm gonna end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Shema Shai by Shemar Kakodash, double honor to the apostle, elder, great millstone. Shalom Amakim.